All right, all right. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Uh, let's see. So today we're going to be doing the fantasy football week one. I kind of should have done this on Wednesday night instead because Thursday night football, as you guys know, yesterday the Eagles versus Cowboys. Cowboys were trying to hold their own, but they did pretty good when it came to trying to beat the Eagles. But sadly, the Cowboys lost versus the Eagles by I think a point and three. So what are you gonna do about it? We'll recap that. I think I don't know if we're gonna make a recap video about some of these games, but we're just gonna be talking about fantasy football for now. But without Michael Parsons, the Cowboys could not add any pressure to Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts was just pretty much playing around with the Cowboys a lot. As for the Cowboys, they did pretty good on offense. Pretty good on offense. I feel like they should have spread the ball more instead of just choosing Lamb a lot. They should have done Pickens a little bit more, but hey, it is what it is. They're running the ball pretty solid, good amount of yardage. And yeah, so let's start with the fantasy football. We'll talk more about the games next week. I'm not sure if I'll make a whole video about it. Well, I'll think about it. But right now, let's talk about fantasy football. First game we talk about is the Buffalo Bills and Baltimore Ravens. So this one is a really good matchup. Two really good teams. You got the Bills who re-sign James Cook to a long-term extension. You have Derrick Henry doing his thing. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, two MVP players. Now, how would you start and sit these two teams? I'm going to say that you definitely need to start these four players. James Cook, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Derrick Henry. Automatically, always, every single week, start those players. Now, wide receiver position, I would try to avoid because the Bills don't really have that strong of a wide receiver core. And then the Ravens, you can somewhat say, yeah, start Zay Flowers. He's number one option easily. You definitely can start him. But if you could try and avoid Zay Flowers and have someone a little bit better than him, then go for it. But if you're Zay Flowers and that's it, that's okay. Start him. Um, who else? Tight end, Dalton Connect or Mark Andrews. I would say definitely start both of them. Definitely start both of them. And then as for the defensive wise, I would try and avoid using the Bills and Ravens defense because both of these teams are going to play a lot. A lot of back and forth. So the defense might have a little bit shaky here and there. Yes, the Ravens maybe did a little bit better when it comes to this offseason about the defensive wise of who they added. But I would still avoid because Josh Allen is just Josh Allen. And then Lamar. So I would just avoid the defense of both these sides. It might be a low scoring game, high scoring game. It just can be very debatable depending on what. What else? What else? I think that's it for the Bills and Ravens. Those are the players I would try to avoid and start. Like I said, if you have only like those really good players in your roster, depending on the PPR or non PPR, I would try to like use them. But if you don't, and if you have other players, you can switch them out. Now let's talk about the Vikings versus Bears game. So this one, the Bears, I don't know. Like I like the head coach that they brought in. I just first time head coaching, so I can't give you a full confidence in starting. But like I always say, it's like if those are the only players you have on your team, and there's nobody else better than them, just start them. Just start them. Don't be starting nobody that's like second string or third target. Like just start the players. But hmm, I wouldn't start Caleb Williams. I just wouldn't. I just don't really see him doing a lot. The Vikings defense are pretty good the last couple of years. I would try to avoid Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift. I feel like they might be doing much more run heavy instead of throwing the ball more. Plus, the Bears don't really have that many good wide receivers. You have a couple of wide receivers out until a couple of weeks. I would say start Swift. Don't start Caleb for the Bears. As for the Vikings, definitely going to start Justin Jefferson easily. Why would you sit him? And then for quarterback, JJ McCarthy, start him. The Bears, I don't know. The Bears are just a little strange. I feel like JJ McCarthy's going to do good. The Bears defense, nothing to really worry about. The Vikings defense is much more better. Then Aaron Jones, definitely start Aaron Jones. No question about that. Now, you may think, okay, J.J. McCarthy, yeah, start him, but what about the other wide receivers? They're injured, they're out for the season. Well, are you sure? Yes, because I saw a lot of potential with J.J. McCarthy preseason a year ago, and I can see that he can definitely do some things. He's not some average rookie guy. He definitely will do some things. Now, the other wide receiver I would say suggested Adam Thielen. He knows the whole play system. He knows the head coach's play calls. He knows the organization since he pretty much grew up with them. And I would definitely start Adam Thielen, but not as a starter. I would say more like a flex, more of a flex play. I'm saying this because I have him on my team. And I feel like he's going to do much better with the Vikings. But just know this. Adam Thielen is only going to be good for 3 or 4 weeks. That's it. When James Madison, if I'm correct, no Madison. When the other wide receiver is out for 4 weeks. I forgot his name. But when he comes back, Thielen's going to be like wide receiver 3 or 4. So I would just have him for 3 or 4 weeks. Try to trade him right beforehand or maybe in the middle of it to get something good out of it. And then, move on with your life. But definitely start Adam Thielen. I feel like the defense of the Bears isn't that scary. I feel like they're going to target a lot of Justin Jefferson in a way, but Justin Jefferson's just going to do what he does best, beat every single team. And I would say definitely flex Adam Thielen because they're going to try and double Justin Jefferson, and Thielen just will get open. Now, as for tight end for the Vikings, for the Bears, actually, I forgot to tell the Bears, I would definitely start the Bears tight end, Cole Kmet. He's good. As for the Vikings, if you want, I mean, I really wouldn't really lean on starting these two tight ends. I feel like it's more likely to be really wide receivers target the most or the running back. I just have a weird feeling. But yeah. Now let's move on to the Rams versus Texans. This one's a little bit as well, just like the Bears. I'm just a little iffy on the Texans. The Rams, I have no problem with them. I feel like they're going to rebound easily. Now let's start with the Let's start with the Rams. Let's do Matthew Stafford. Definitely start him if you have him. Running back, definitely start the running back. I feel the Texans defense isn't really that scary. No. Which I'll let you know if the start sit with the Texans. But wide receivers, Puka, definitely start. Tight end, definitely start for sure. But the other wide receivers on the Rams, I kind of would avoid. I don't know. I just don't think they're going to drop that many points for your team. Then we got the Rams defense. I would say, man, Nico Collins back. CJ Stroud's back. I would say if you want, I feel like it's not going to be as big of a deal. I mean, because Texans do somewhat do really good with Nico Collins plays. I would say, try to avoid the Rams defense, but if you have to, it's the only team you have that you can put on defense, definitely start them. But I would say, pretty much, what's up, Bryce? Pretty much, try to, choose a different team. But if you have to, just choose the Rams defense. But it's just going to be a little bit shaky because, like I said, Nico Collins plays. Stroud just goes pretty good on the field. But when Nico Collins doesn't play, CJ Stroud is not too good. They don't have any other good wide receivers to help out. Now, for the Texans, I was starting to say CJ Stroud. He's your last option. Start him, but I would kind of avoid because of the wide receivers, how weak they are. Definitely start Nico Collins. The secondaries, I feel like, going to be a little bit easy for Nico Collins. The Rams defense isn't the scariest, but they do hold their own compared to the Texans defense. Running back wise, I would avoid them. I just would. I just don't trust them. You got Nick Chubb. You got another backup running back. I would just avoid them. I feel like they're just not going to lean on them that much. I feel like wide receivers are mainly the players that they're going to lean on the most because of how good they are wide receiver position with Nico Collins. And then I think Tank Dell, if I'm correct on that. I would try to avoid the running back for the Texans. Tight end wise, I wouldn't really get him. He just doesn't really do a whole lot. I want to avoid that too. Defense of the Texans, definitely avoid as well. Don't start them either. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot going on. But hey, you never know. Some of these games, it could be like, wait, what? Like last year, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the Browns were just really bad. And then all of a sudden, they just went off on a team. And it's like, wait, that team's really good. How did they go off? So you never know. You never know. But this is what I did my research on. This is what I looked up watching some of these videos, see what's up, what players do they have on their team. Week 1, very tricky because anything can happen week 1. Compared to week 5, week 4, week 7, you know what's up. Now, Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers. Let's start with Detroit. Detroit is definitely gonna Packers kind of a little different now. As you guys know, the Packers traded for Michael Parsons. If you haven't checked that video out, go check it out. I pretty much give you my thought and reaction about this trade between the Packers and Cowboys. But Michael Parsons, the Green Bay Packer, and this kind of changes it up a little bit. Let's start with the Packers first, actually. Before, I thought I would say don't start the Packers defense, but I feel like adding Michael Parsons changed the whole game for the Packers defense. I feel like it because it's like before when LeBron came back to Cleveland, and the Cavs were just bad. Yeah, they had Kyrie, but even before Kyrie, they were just bad. You know, even when LeBron just came into the league, the Cavs changed because it's just his presence. So I feel like Michael Parsons' presence to the Green Bay Packers defense is going to change the whole game. So I would definitely say start the Packers defense. I would. You may not get a whole lot of points, but you're going to get more points that you gotten from yesterday's game of the Eagles versus Cowboys, for sure. But I feel like the Packers are going to be a game changer on defense after adding Michael Parsons, who definitely adds their defense as starting for your team. Now, as for the offensive side of the ball, I would avoid the quarterback a little bit. I would try to avoid him. I would avoid the quarterback. The Lions defense are good. So I would try to avoid, even though they have a new defensive coordinator, I would still avoid quarterback for the Packers. As for the running back, Josh Jacobs, I would start him, but flex him. Don't start him. I would say flex him the most. The Detroit defense is good, but I would say flex. And then as for the Packers wide receivers, it's the Lions. They've been pretty good. I know they have a new offensive defensive coordinator, but come on. They're still going to be a good team. So I'm going to say try to avoid the Packers wide receivers because the Lions defense is good. The only one I'll say is flex Josh Jacobs. Yeah. Now, as for the Lions defense, start for sure. Yeah, their defense definitely start. As for their offense, Jared Goff, start him like always. Gibbs, definitely start him. Drafting top 5, top 7 in the fantasy draft. Definitely start Gibbs. Then we got St. Brown. Definitely, start St. Brown. No question about that. Every single week, start him. And then you got the tight end. Definitely start the tight end for sure. He's a really good tight end. I feel like he's definitely going to do a whole lot. Sam Laporta really does a whole lot for the team. Even if it's small or big way, he does help a lot. Who else? Williams, with the Williams, I think the second, third stringer for the wide receiver position for the Lions. I would try to. I mean, you can start him as your flex, but I wouldn't start him because he just doesn't get the ball that much. I feel like it's always surrounded by Gibbs, Laporta, and St. Brown. I feel like Williams is just dependent, like Laporta's out and St. Brown's like double coverage, then yeah, start him. But everyone's healthy, and I wouldn't really start Williams like that. Um, what else? What else? I think that's it. Oh, and the Montgomery, I would try to. I know he might start. I'm kind of confused because when I'm looking at reports that they might start Montgomery or they might start Gibbs, but it sounds like Gibbs might be more leaning towards it. Um, you said who should I start, BTJ or Drake London? Who's BTJ? Who's BTJ? Let me know in the comments what's BTJ mean. I know what Drake London is. But yeah, I would say Montgomery, you can flex start because he's definitely going to share the load with Gibbs. But I don't feel like Gibbs is going to do much more. We said Brian Thomas, okay, or Drake London. Let me see. Let me see something. Let me look that up for you. Brian Thomas. I'm really good at faces, not names. Oh, okay. The Jaguars. Oh, I forgot. And then Drake London. I know Drake London. I'm just trying to see who they versing. So I would say like lean on Drake London more, because honestly though, like the Jaguars had a new head coach. No offense to him, but he's kind of like delusional, and I don't feel confident in him. Like yes, the Falcons are versing a pretty good Bucs defense, but the Jaguars are versing the Panthers. Then Travis Hunter might be the vocal point on the offense, and then you have other playmakers. Man. Let me think that for a second. I'm gonna say, now I'm thinking about it. I think I'll say start Brian Thomas for now. Yes, I know Travis Hunter might be part of the offense, but I don't feel like the whole time. And they're not gonna really like use the running back a whole lot. They don't trust him anymore like that before. And I feel like just starting Drake London a little bit risky. The Bucs defense are good, and they're gonna be using Bijan a lot. So it's like they're gonna lean more of the running game than the throwing game. So I would start Brian Thomas for sure because the Panthers are not that good. They're not, and he might have to get the ball much more than usual. Now let's move on to. We did that. We already did about 3 games already. We're almost done. As you guys know, the Eagles won yesterday. I had the Eagles defense. I'm like, I should have started the Commanders defense because the Giants aren't the best, but it is what it is. But my opponent has Pickens, Smith, and Goddard, and thank God they all did pretty bad because Goddard only has like 13 fantasy points. Pickens had like 7, and then Smith had like 3, which is awesome. Like thank God, because their value was like 14 to 15 fantasy points, all of them. I'm like, okay, that's good. So right now I'm in the lead. Like it says, my projection 179, and he has 162. So, no problem, bro. Anytime. I'm gonna do this every week. I'm gonna do this every Wednesday, pretty much, so that we can get all this down pat before Thursday night football. I just thought of it today. I'm like, I should be doing this. So let's move on to the next game. Titans versus Broncos. Oh, I would avoid the rookie quarterback for sure. Yes, people are going to say start him, but it's his first game. I just wouldn't risk it. If he's your only option, then go for it. But I would risk it because the Broncos defense are good. They just re-signed their pass rusher to a long-term deal. Can you do 2,000 Pacers for where are they now? I think I did them already. Let me know. Go back and check. Cause I think I did them already. I just don't need teams lately, bro. I'm kind of like trying to take a break from doing early now because it's a lot of work. I mean, yeah, it's 4 players, but like it just takes time editing, and I get kind of tired of doing it. So I'm trying to take a little break here and there, like one a game. Oh, I did 22 and 5. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll do it. Just remind me because I have so many people comment on what teams they want me to do. It's a lot. So back to the game. So the Titans definitely avoid the rookie quarterback until you can see something out of this game. If he does good this game, I would definitely say start him next game. But we'll look into more detail about the next game after this week. But right now, avoid the rookie quarterback, avoid the running back, and definitely don't touch. Hey, oh, the dog barking. Hey, the dog barking. Tundra. Definitely avoid the Titans running back for sure. And then running back, wide receiver, avoid. Defense, definitely avoid. Don't even use the Titans defense at all. You said Chiefs or Bills defense. I would say Bills defense. Chiefs or Bills defense. Wow. What's up, man? I would say start the Chiefs defense. The Bills too risky. You're not gonna get a lot of points out of them because they're versus the Ravens. The Ravens are gonna play pretty good. So try to just choose the Chiefs for tonight's game. All right, back to the game. I'm trying to answer you guys' questions while I'm doing my video. While I'm telling you guys the games. What's next? So avoid the wide receiver for the Titans. Avoid their running back. Avoid their quarterback. I don't trust them. If you had me to choose one of them, I would say go for the running back. That's it. Tony Pollard. That's it. Bronco. Start all of them. Start defense. All of it. I don't have to explain anymore. Start wide receiver, running back, tight end, all of them. Because Titans defense are not scary. Do not start the Titans defense. And definitely start the Broncos defense. That's it. Start everyone. Let's see. Now, 49ers versus Seahawks. Okay. Pete Carroll's debut, head coach. 49ers kind of getting back into their mojo. Definitely start Brock Purdy. Definitely start Christian McCaffrey. But it sounds like Christian McCaffrey has a little bit of an issue with his leg. It's not nothing. Oh my god! But you know him. He had a little bit of an issue, like a day or three before a game starts, and then when game day starts, the first quarter, he's out. So if you have any other running backs that's better or close as him, start them. Don't be like, don't use him because I have a weird feeling that he might get injured or whatever. So try to use someone like Bijan type or Barkley type if you have someone to replace him. I would not start him. But if you have him, nobody else is good, just start him. I just don't draft him at all. I had number one pick. I could have drafted him, but I avoided him. But yeah, definitely start Purdy. If you have to start CMC, start him. Wide receiver wise, I don't know. I wouldn't really risk it because it's a little bit iffy because I feel like when Brock Purdy has the other wide receivers, he doesn't really throw to. He's kind of like all over the place with them. He doesn't have a number one target. So I would say only one to start is George Kittle at the wide receiver, even though he's tight end. He'll throw the ball to him a lot. Number one target. Defense wise, I would say start the 49ers defense. Why not? For Seattle, I would say start their defense in a way, but don't trust them fully. Try to avoid them and try to use someone else. But the wide receiver for the 49ers is not the greatest. So you can definitely use the Seahawks defense. But yeah, CMC. So it's up to you. But I would just avoid them just in case. But if you have to, it's not a big deal. It's not like you're using the Bills and Ravens defense, and that's much more tricky because you have two really good teams, and there's no point of starting their defense because it's a back and forth. You're barely gonna get any points out of those defense, At least for this, it somewhat might because of weak the 49ers wide receivers are. Now, the offense for the Seahawks, Cooper Kupp definitely start for sure. Always start every week. Tight end, don't. I mean, it's up to you. One tight end, I'm not really a fan of him. The flex play, I guess, if you have to. Running back, definitely start the running back. Darnold, I'm not trusting Darnold. I wouldn't start Darnold. If you have to, you have to. But I would not trust Darnold. He just doesn't fit their play call system. He does not fit it. So I feel like he's just going to be kind of a little bit off. But hey, I might be wrong. But I would just avoid him for, this first week. If he proves us otherwise after this week, hey, go for it. Now, talk about, we're almost done. Raiders versus Patriots. So the Raiders, I would say, start the rookie running back, Asante, easily start him. Quarterback, Geno Smith. Yeah, I would say start him. I'm not afraid of the Patriots defense. Wide receiver wise, well, now I'm kind of looking back. Should I even I would try to avoid Geno Smith. Actually, I changed my mind because the wide receivers is not the greatest. Yes, you have Brock Bowers, the tight end, and yes, you have Myers, but it's kind of a little bit iffy. I don't know. Kind of tossed up in the air for Geno Smith. But I would definitely start Brock Bowers for sure, 100%. Myers, definitely start. The other wide receiver, try to avoid. I do not trust the other wide receivers on the Raiders. The Raiders defense, yeah, I would say somewhat start them if you want. Patriots offense is not that scary. Definitely start the Raiders defense. I feel like that's fine. Offense wise, quarterback, Patriots, definitely start them. Stephon Diggs, definitely start. I would lean towards flex play. Now, running back for the Patriots, they're both going to split the ball. So it's up to you. Want to start Stevenson or the other guy. I feel like the other guy is going to do much more of the workload than Stevenson. Saw in preseason, he did really, really good. I forgot his name, but I think he's the rookie, if I'm correct on that. Start him over Stevenson, though. Stevenson's more of a flex play if you have to, but they're both going to split the carries for sure. And yeah. Now, the Bengals versus Browns. Okay, so Bengals versus Browns. Jamar Chase. Let's start the Bengals. Jamar Chase starting easily. I could have drafted him, but I avoided him. Wanted running back first. This my league is heavy on running backs, and yeah, Chase starting. Running back for the Bengals definitely start. I was impressed. I didn't even know who he was. I'm like, wait, he's good. Oh snap. But did research on him. Definitely start the Bengals running back. Browns defense is good, but I feel the Bengals are going to do somewhat good. And they have good players, the Bengals, so they're definitely going to do something. Joe Burrow definitely starting. Tight end for the Bengals would try to avoid T. Higgins, definitely start. I would say advise you flex if that's the case. Now for Browns, I would say, my bad. Let's go back to the Bengals defense. Bengals defense, I would avoid their defense. Don't start them. Last year, that hasn't been the greatest. Yes, you're going to say this year might be different, but avoid their defense. The whole contract situation and all, I would try to avoid their defense for now until they can get 2 or 3 weeks in and see how their defense does. Now, let's go for the Browns. The Browns defense, I would avoid Chase, Burrow, Higgins, running back. I would just avoid them at all costs. Now, running back wise, Ford is going to be starting. Seems like he might get the most of the bulk load of the running back snaps. Yes, you have backup running back, which I have him in case Ford gets injured. But I would say flex Ford. I don't trust him fully. Yes, you can see some flashing here and there last year, but I would try to try to avoid him a little bit, flex and play much more. Quarterback Joe Flacco, if you want to start him. He'd be 40-something years old, so I guess you want to start him. He does good, though, but why not? I mean, plus the Bengals defense hasn't been good, so hey, start Joe Flacco. Why not? Now, wide receivers for the Browns. What's his name? I totally forgot his name. Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy definitely start for sure. Definitely start Jerry Jeudy. And thanks for the 2 likes, guys. Thanks for the 2 likes. Like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna do fantasy football every single week until this playoffs, pretty much. Unless you want me to do bets, maybe do bets. But yeah, let's do it. So then, yeah. So only wide receivers I would say is Jerry Jeudy. Go for. Other than that, nobody really tight end. Yeah, you can go with the tight end if you want. Yeah, I would say go for the tight end for the Browns because I remember Joe Flacco did really good with the tight end at one point when he was with them, and he was getting a lot of fantasy points, a lot of good yardage. And I definitely would say start the tight end. So Joe Flacco, the type of veteran quarterback that can look everywhere. He's not the other quarterback who's like, oh, number one option all the time. No, he does everything. And he feeds everyone the ball. And plus, he's not that mobile, so he's going to throw to someone. He's not going to run out of the pocket and go to first down. When he's younger, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Then Bucs versus Falcons. I'm going to say let's start with the Falcons. I had Bijan number 1 pick. Let me know in the comments how would you think about that. Me drafting Bijan number 1 pick. Definitely start him for sure. He went off last year. Quarterback. I think it's his first time starting for an opener for the franchise. I know last year he joined in the middle of the season because of Kirk Cousins' contract issue. I would try to avoid him. Bucs defense is good. Now as for Drake London, I would try to avoid Drake London, put him in more of a flex play. Bucs defense, that's why I would say just try to avoid the Falcons. Wide receivers and tight end position. As for tight end, it's up to you. If you have to use them. But I need to see more out of this quarterback. I can't trust any of these players until week 3 or 4. And to give you a definite answer, I would definitely start or sit them. It's just very risky for a quarterback who hasn't had that much experience in the NFL. Yes, last year counted, but totally different ball game. You're bringing to a somewhat rookie guy on your team to start for the franchise for the whole season. So it's like a whole new system compared to like in the middle of the season you get thrown into it and then you just wing it. So try to avoid the Falcons wide receivers. Now as for defense, definitely don't touch their defense. Their defense, you can say someone got better. You can say also their offense, but I would still avoid both of those. Like I said, just avoid their defense. They're the Bucs now. I would say they're out with Godwin until week 4 or week 5. So start definitely put in the rookie wide receivers as the flex play. Do not start. I mean, if you have to start, go ahead, but flex play at most. Mike Evans start. Baker Mayfield start. Running back with his name Irving or something. His name is. I would say if you want, but I'm not really a fan of him. He's really so overrated. I would avoid him. He just doesn't really do a whole lot. But if you want to start him, go ahead. Flex him. The Falcons aren't that scary of a defense, but just know that they're just going to throw the ball a lot. I just have a weird feeling they're going to throw the ball a lot. Because it's how the Falcons work. They're just always run heavy. They're not really on like the fly. And they're not that good on the passing game. But yeah, as for tight end, definitely start the Bucs tight end. He's good. Definitely start him. Definitely will get the ball too. Since Godwin is not playing, Baker's gonna have the tight end right then and there. If you guys saw when Godwin or Mike Evans wasn't playing, that tight end was used much more. Now you can say the rookie wide receiver that they drafted is gonna do a lot. Yeah, but he's a rookie, so they might not really give him all the targets and might split it with the tight end. So just know the tight end's going to get something out of it. Next, we got the Giants versus Commanders. Let's start with the Commanders. Definitely start Daniels. I would try to avoid the running backs, Austin Eckler. I know Eckler's going to be starting, but he's going to split with the other two running backs with the snaps. If you have to start Eckler, I feel like the Giants. If you have to, though, I would say start Eckler if you have to. But I would try to avoid the running backs because the Giants' front is really nasty. I feel like their front going to do a lot of the work, and Daniel's just going to be throwing the ball the whole time. Um, it's just going to be too risky. Plus, the other running backs are just too young. They're inexperienced. They're not the best. I mean, they're somewhat flashy, but this is totally different. It's regular season versus one of the best players on their team, not versus third stringers. Now, wide receivers, Terry McLaurin, definitely start him. Samuel, start him for sure. The Giants secondary is not the best, but they did a little better upgrading. Just not the best, but definitely start the wide receiver for the Commanders. As for the defense of the Commanders, start for sure. Start them. Now, as for the Giants, avoid their defense. Avoid them at all costs. They're not going to do nothing. I mean, they're fun, going to do good. It's just avoid it because they have a lot of stuff on the Commanders side. I would just avoid their defense. I don't trust the Giants defense. I love their front. If their front were just like their secondary, start them. But no. Now, quarterback, running back, and wide receivers. Malik Neighbors start. Gotta avoid the tight end if you want. Running back wise, I wouldn't touch. Fit him. Quarterback, start Russell Wilson. And then, yeah. Now we got 5 more games left. And then we're going to end this video. So, Cardinals and Saints. Okay. New head coach for the Saints. Cardinals, a little rocky. Let's start with the Cardinals. Let's avoid their defense. I just don't feel confident in their defense. Avoid their defense for now. It's only week 1, but you gotta see how it is. But start Harrison, start Kyler Murray, start James Conner. Definitely start their tight end. Definitely start him. And then, yeah, that's it for the Cardinals. Just avoid their defense. As for the Saints, start Kamara. Do not start their quarterback. No. But definitely start Kamara. Wide receiver, I guess start him, but I would say flex play. I would try to avoid them. I just don't trust Spencer Rattler. I just don't. That's why I avoided drafting them because I don't trust the quarterback. If they had Derek Carr, it'd be a different ball game. But try to avoid the wide receivers. I would say sit them if you have any other good wide receivers on your team because I do not trust Spencer at the moment. And tight end, Taysom Hill is not going to be starting. He's out. So I would not touch the tight end either. Now, Panthers versus Jaguars, I would say this one's a little bit interesting to not such good teams. I guess start everyone. I just do that. Start everyone. As for defense, I would say start the Jaguars defense over the Panthers. The Jaguars are a little bit better defense compared to the Panthers. But just 2 pretty crappy teams that have somewhat good players. I would say want me to choose either quarterback, start Lawrence over Young because Lawrence had better weapons compared to Young, and Travis Hunter can be playing, and then on top of that, better running back. The Panthers don't really have anyone. So yes, they have rookies and all, but I would just avoid the Panthers players as a whole. But if you want, you can start them. I feel like both teams are just equally matched, but I feel like the Jaguars have a little bit of an edge. Now let's move on to the Jets for Steelers. I'm a Jets fan, so we'll see what happens. So let's do defense-wise. I would start the Steelers defense a little bit more than the Jets. The Jets, I need to trust them more. The Steelers defense is a little bit more of an edge. Offensive wise for both teams, I would say if the Jets can go after Aaron Rodgers, if you guys know Aaron Rodgers gets very frustrated easily. In the beginning of the game, you took over the whole game and you're winning. So I would say, man, oh my God, wow. I would say Justin Fields a little bit more than Aaron Rodgers. But wide receiver wise, Garrett Wilson start, Metcalf the Steelers start. Avoid the tight ends for both teams. I feel like tight ends are never used on any of these teams. Between these two teams. Running back wise, definitely start for both teams. Breece Hall and the Steelers running back as well. I feel like leaning towards the Steelers running back more than Breece Hall. Breece Hall sounds like he might be splitting the carries up a little bit here and there. Yeah. Next game, Dolphins versus Colts. Dolphins start Waddle, kind of flex play Hill. I feel like Hill might not be used as much. It seems like Waddle could be the primary target. Tua, defense is somewhat good. I would try to avoid starting Tua. I would say start him if you have to. The Colts defense isn't good, but they're somewhat a little bit good, underrated. I would say. As for running back, Acheon, if I said his name right, definitely start him. Jonathan Taylor, definitely start him for the Colts. Daniel Jones, start him. Go for it. He impressed well in preseason, but if you think he's not going to do well, don't start him. Michael Pittman, start for the Colts wide receiver, tight end Colts. Definitely start. He's a rookie, but he definitely will do a lot. Defensive wise, oh man, I would try to avoid both defense. I would try to avoid both defense. I just have a weird feeling that it might be a little back and forth. Yeah, I would try to avoid both defense. Now, as for the last game, Chiefs or Chargers, I'm gonna say that tonight, which is gonna start any minute now, but we'll just do it anyway. 5 minutes. I'll do it quick. Start Patrick Mahomes. Start Travis Kelce. Start the running back. Start the running back Rice, like his name is. Defensive wise, Chiefs start. Chargers don't start their defense. Wide receiver wise, for Chargers, avoid. I don't trust them. One of the guys, I think some white guy. I think definitely use him. Definitely start him. I would say. Tight end don't for the Chargers. Definitely Justin Herbert, but I would try to avoid him too. Since wide receivers are bad. Running back wise, if you want, I just don't trust the Chargers right now. If you have him on your team, good luck. And that's it, guys. That is the start and sit of Fantasy Football Week 1. And the game's about to start in 5 minutes, so let me know how your team does tonight. I'm going to be rooting for the Chargers, since I do not like the Chiefs. And see you later.